Hello everyone, welcome to my lecture on rural marketing. Today we will be going to study on marketing strategies and tactics with reference to rural market. We'll be going through segmenting, targeting and positioning strategies. STP. S stands for segmenting, T stands for targeting, and P stands for positioning. Why STP is important in rural marketing? Though STP plays an important part in marketing as well, but it is equally important in rural marketing. STP plays an important role to get to our right customers. STP2 are the tools, segmenting, targeting, and positioning are the tools to align a company's product with its right customers. Thus, this STP, segmenting, targeting, and positioning help a marketer in reducing marketing risk, and helps in customer retention, reduce cost of marketing, it increases customer delight, and it also helps in customer retention. Now, how does it help in reducing marketing risk or market risk? Because while segmenting, targeting, and positioning, the company are in the position to select a segment that they could best satisfy with their product. They could know exactly the needs of the segment that they are targeting on, and accordingly they could target the strategies and position themselves. Thus, the risk of failure reduces. It helps in customer retention because company know who are your customers. They are knowing well about the segments and the customers belonging to those segments. This will help in more knowledge about the customers who are new customers who are repurchasing the company's item, and customers which are the switches which may switch, or the potential customers which may switch to the company. Thus, having an appropriate strategy for them helps in retaining these customers. It helps to reduce cost of marketing. Why? Because we will be focusing only on those segments. We will be targeting those segments and positioning our product in those segments in which we want to those segments that we want to serve. And instead of going to whole market or mass market, thereby the cost of marketing will be focused onto those segments and it will be reduced significantly. Increase customer delight. How this STP will be increasing customers' delight? When the customers are knowing that they have been given the best, their needs are being catered, they are getting the value for money, they will be delighted. So segmenting the customers, targeting to right customers, and positioning product effectively to those customers, to those targeted customers, will help in improving their satisfaction and thereby leading to their customer delight. And at the end, customer retention. How this segmenting, targeting, and positioning helps in retaining the customers. As we have discussed, that it helps in catering the needs of our existing customers, potential customers. So, catering to these needs will make them delight, and delighted customer will always remain with the company. So once the customer is delighted, he knows that he is getting good value for his money. His needs are being taken care of, and the product what he purchased gives him intended benefit. So he will stick to this company, to this product, and will repurchase the product. Thus, it helps in thus STP helps in customer retention. Now let us study these uh, three strategies: segmentation, targeting, and positioning in detail. So what is market segmentation? Going by definition of market segmentation, market segmentation is defined as dividing the market into distinct group of buyers with different need, characteristic, or behavior. So let us consider a whole market. Now this market will be having different types of customers with different purchasing capacity, different needs, different buying behavior, different approach. So what the marketer has to do, marketer has to identify these characteristics, and they have to group the customers with common characteristic together, and this group of customers with common characteristic will be different from the other group within the same market. For example, if a customer is having a joint family, is living in a joint family, he will always be purchasing a product that means that helps in getting, means that is a family pack or a bigger pack. They will be going for a bigger pack or a family pack. Now consider if a customer is belonging to a nuclear family, maybe husband, wife, and one child, maybe only husband, wife, or it may be husband, wife with two children. Now, this nuclear family, the customer of this nuclear family will be looking for small packets. He will not be buying these family packs. Because it is not of his needs. He may not be requiring such a large quantity of uh, product. For example, if we are talking about cooking oil, a person living in a joint family may like to purchase 5-liter can. A person who belongs to a nuclear family will be interested in purchasing 1-liter can. Both are having different needs, though brand may be same. Now, the motive of both is different. The consumption of 1-liter oil for a nuclear family is sufficient for a month. And for a joint family, person needs 5 liters of oil, cooking oil, in a month. So the consumption is 5 liters in case of joint family, and consumption is 1 liter in case of nuclear family. Now these are two different types of customers. Now a marketer could group these customers and could divide the market into these two different customer segments. One segment, those who want to purchase in family pack, bigger size, maybe living in joint family, and other who want to purchase in small packets, small packs, maybe living in nuclear family. So this is how there could be n number of characteristics based on needs, characteristic, and behavior, on which the market could be divided into various groups of buyers. So the process of dividing market into these different groups of buyers with different need, characteristic, and behavior is market segmentation. Now, what is a segment? A market segment is a discrete group of consumers enjoying common characteristic. So this group of one type of customers living in joint family and another group of customers living in nuclear family, these are the two different groups with different needs, will form two different segments. So there could be many segments within the market depending on the different buying habits, traits, or preference, or any other characteristic. So a market segment is a discrete group of consumers enjoying common characteristics. Now, these market segments are homogeneous from within. So the customers within one segment enjoy common characteristic, but these characteristic, behavior, taste, preference, need, or anything else is different from those who belong to other segment. So segments or market segments are homogeneous from within and heterogeneous from outside. This means the characteristics of customers in segment 1 is different from characteristic of customers in segment 2. But the customers within segment 1 will enjoy common characteristics. Customer within segment 2 will enjoy common characteristics. But these two segments have different characteristics. A researcher tried to form segments by looking at either consumer characteristic or consumer response. So broadly, these consumer characteristics may be geography, demography, or psychographic factors. And consumer response may be the benefit sought, use occasion, and brand loyalty. So what the researcher do or what a marketer do, he looks onto these two broad characteristics, consumer characteristic or consumer response. Within these characteristics, he looks for the geography, demography, psychographic factors, or benefits that the consumer wants from the product, use or occasion where he's using the product, and brand loyalty. Let us study segmentation with the help of a case example. You all must have listened the name of Nirma, and you must also have listened the name Surf. Both are the washing powder, detergents powder. Both are detergents. Now in 1980s, Surf was giant and undisputed market leader. It belonged to Hindustan Lever Limited at that time, now called Hindustan Unilever. And this undisputed market leader of 1980s suffered a significant loss on the hands of new entrant, a small firm called Nirma Chemicals. Nirma caught the fancy of middle and lower income customers. Nirma detergent was one of the lowest priced branded washing powder available in the stores at that time. And this was the low cost strategy that the Nirma used to target to middle and lower class income customers. Moreover, the upper middle class families use Nirma for washing their inexpensive clothes. And by 1984, HUL decided to take a fresh look at market. Its market share was going down. It was losing in the hands of Nirma. A research conducted across the country revealed that different income groups of customers had varying expectations from detergent and washing powders. And in order to counter the attack from Nirma, HUL launched Sunlight. It was Sunlight Yellow, Wheel Green, and Rin Blue for different market segments. These were launched with the price competitive with that of Nirma. And this strategy of segmenting helped HUL win back its lost market. So by this case, we could see how this giant suffered the losses on the basis of price competition from Nirma low price product. And after that, they were able to know the power of segmenting market and then targeting these segments with different kinds of product according to the need of those segments. Now, why segmentation is necessary in rural areas? It is because lot of heterogeneity is there in rural areas. Now, a few factors that leads to heterogeneity in rural areas are socio-cultural reference across regions. Now, for example, conservative prefer herbal and natural cosmetic product. There is a lot of social culture difference that is there across the regions. The conservative people believe that there are the fats of animal in cosmetic products, so they will be trying not to use those products which are chemical-based products having animal fats. Instead, they will be preferring herbal and natural cosmetic products because the culture may not permit. Similarly, people in South India preferred coffee taste. South Indians prefer coffee taste. That is the culture difference that is there compared to other North India or Eastern India. Another reason for heterogeneity in rural areas is variation in population size and the population density of the village. There is a lot of variation in population size and population density of the villages in India. Few villages are very scattered, they have lesser population. Some villages have very congested, densely populated. Now, both these will have different level of infrastructure development. The village where population is higher, population density is much, will be finding more of the retail shops, more of the uh, businesses reaching to those villages, catering to their needs, whereas villages where population size is significantly low will be finding hard to get a retailer at their place. They have to move to different nearby adjoining areas to get the product of their needs. Then there exists a difference in level of infrastructure development. There are few villages in India which may lack proper infrastructure. They may not have electricity or very poor electricity condition. Now, I take an example. If there is a poor electricity condition in a village, the people will be going more for batteries, flashlights, torch, mosquito coils. There may be inverters and so on. So the rural areas where power cut is more, if the people could afford, they will be choosing these kinds of products. And areas where power supply is very less interrupted, these areas people not be purchasing inverter or batteries, etc. Another reason for heterogeneity is level of exposure to media. Now, few villages may be having televisions. Most of them may have radios, and access to media, television or radio or smartphone varies significantly among these rural areas. The far out distinct places may not find the cable network, D2H network, where TV will getting to dish TV or cable network for TV is a real problem. They will be more dependent on the radios. So TV commercial may work at one rural area and may not work at that well in other, because people may not be able to see those. Income level, pattern of income flow is again a reason for heterogeneity in rural areas. Now, how this difference in income level is there? Because in rural areas, we may have find that there may be very large farmers, there may be medium farmers, there may be landlords at one end, and there may be daily wage earners, marginal farmers at other end. Now these daily wage earners, agricultural laborers, marginal farmers may not be having same kind of income or disposable income as compared to larger farmers, landlords and all. Now the population density in the village could be good, but the actual paying capacity for a particular product within that village may lies in few households. So marketer has to take this into account. There may be 200 houses in a village, but out of those 200, it may be 150 are the daily wage earners or laborers. Only 30 to 40 houses are affluent. They are having the purchasing capacity to buy, you may say, car, or you may say bike, or you may say AC, assuming that infrastructure is good. So marketer has to take this into account. It may not, the 200 household may look fancy, but actually it could be 20 or 30. The other factor that leads to heterogeneity in rural areas are variation in literacy level. Bihar, one of the lowest state having one of the lowest literacy rate in India, and Kerala is having the highest literacy rate in India. So the needs in the villages of Bihar will be different in the needs and consumption of the villages in Kerala. And marketer has to take this heterogeneity into account while designing the marketing program, or by the segment, by choosing the segment in these two states, because both the rural areas may have a vast difference depending on the literacy. Definitely, the people are learned, those people who are literate will have a different kind of need and approach towards buying a product. They may have a different, overall different look or vision to see that product, and accordingly they will be purchasing that product. Other who don't have knowledge, who are not having adequate amount of information, anything could work for them. Next is family structure. I have given you an example earlier in this lecture about large joint families and small nuclear families. Take an example, people in North India tend to have larger households. North Indians normally live in large joint families compared to people living in Western areas in India. Hence, they prefer large economy packs. Now in South or West India, normally in South, small packs sell more as household size is comparatively smaller. So small sachets, small packs will be selling more in southern India, and large economy packs will be more prevalent, will be selling more in North India, where North India has large joint families. There is differences and variation in the climate that India has. This also leads to heterogeneity in Indian rural areas. For example, the products like deodorant, talcum powder, etc. will sell more in hot and humid part of southern India. But we see North India, the winters are severe there. So these North India or North Indian villages, they will be having more demand for Chyawanprash, etc. during this season. The sales of talcum powder and deodorant will be significantly lower in northern India. So we see that these factors play a significant role in consumer behavior and deciding about the purchasing product in rural areas. So these factors that leads to heterogeneity in rural areas play a significant role in consumer behavior and their decision about purchasing the product in rural market. Next, let us study there are certain prerequisites of effective segmentation. First is measurable. There are certain pre-requirements. Not all segments are worth to be targeted. So there are to be effective, segmentation to be effective, there are certain pre-requirements. First is measurable. Now, the segment should be measurable. The variables that makes this segment different should be distinct, clear, and measurable. Companies are unable to reach rural market effectively due to lack of information related to size, purchasing power, profile of rural consumers, etc. Moreover, the factors measurable in urban areas cannot be measured directly in rural areas due to non-uniform or due to income pattern or due to lack of proper information. Here I have taken an example of monthly income. This factor is measurable well in urban areas where most of the people are salaried or businessmen. But measuring this income in rural areas very difficult because income, first of all, is not uniform. It is seasonal. There are multiple sources of income. People may be engaged in farming, it may be engaged in non-farming activities. They may be also during off-season, they may be engaged in certain labor work and so on. So the segment should, the variable should be measurable so that the properties of the segment may be clear. Then next is accessible. Marketer must ensure the segment is conveniently reachable when he is able to reach the segment quickly and ensure the efficient delivery of the product. The segment that marketer choose, he must be able to reach their segment as quickly as possible, and he may be able to efficiently deliver the product in those segments. And if it is not, for example, if the segment is such that these rural areas belong to very distinct places where marketer may not reach, choosing their segment may not be a viable option. But today, there is a significant improvement in connectivity of the villages with government initiatives. There is an increase in interest of corporations, organizations in using traditional huts, melas, or other new channel for distribution. And that is why rural markets are becoming more and more accessible nowadays. So today, the accessibility to these rural areas with various measures taken by government to improve infrastructure, various approaches taken by organizations to reach to rural areas had made these rural areas or rural market more accessible. Then next is differentiable, and segment to be effective should be differentiable. This means that segment should have a feature that is very different or distinguished from as compared to other segment. So segment 1 should be different significantly with segment 2. And if it is not, then it is very difficult to design a product with meaningful difference. Rural consumers are identified as a separate segment as their responses are likely to be different from urban customers. So urban and rural are the two different segments. So rural customers and rural markets will be having a different kind of market strategies. They need a different kind of marketing strategies as compared to urban areas. One is that, for example, while buying motorcycle, rural consumer may give more importance to durability, strength, mileage, and carrying capacity of the vehicle. Because of the roads that are not being developed, because of the mileage, because the petrol pumps may be at a far off places and so on. But urban consumers may be looking for style, power, looks, speed, and so on. Next, a segment to be effective should be substantial. A segment is attractive to a marketer only when it is profitable. So substantial means it should be big enough to be profitable. And it is observed that rural areas are not homogeneous and lot of region-wise difference exist. But designing a separate marketing program may not be a viable option, as number of customers in each segment may not be large enough to make it viable or profitable. So this is a real cause of concern. So for the marketer, the segment that he is choosing for rural areas should be enough to generate profit. And because of lot of heterogeneity, making more and more segments with sufficient amount of consumers become a challenging task. Let us start with another topic, that is degree of segmentation. There are 4 distinct segmentation approaches that are identifiable when we consider segmentation from zero segmentation to complete segmentation. So on the basis of degree of segmentation, it could be mass marketing. Mass marketing means all the consumers are being treated as same. Here the company will be targeting the maximum number of consumers with same product. Many of the companies use mass marketing in rural areas and they treat all consumers same. And this is because the companies lack knowledge about the rural market. This mass marketing allows company to target a maximum number of consumers. Example, Hindustan Unilever offered one detergent powder served to all consumers. But Nirma, when entered the market, it grabbed a sizable market share because it's focused on low-income households. This led HUL to refocus on its strategies. HUL worked up and introduced Wheel to counter that. Next degree of segmentation could be segment marketing. This identifies consumers as different groups. It is still at an early stage in rural markets. Now, in segment marketing, we will be choosing one segment and we will be marketing that, or we will be choosing marketing segment and designing the marketing strategies and product for that. And this is in early stage in Indian market because marketers today have come to realize the potential of different customer segments in rural areas that are substantial enough to target and have responded by offering them low price and appropriately designed product. HUL has introduced 4 variants. For example, HUL has introduced 4 variants of Lifebuoy: Active Red, Active Orange, Lifebuoy Plus, Lifebuoy Gold to cater to these. Next degree of segmentation, we could talk about niche marketing. Niche marketing means marketing is catering to very small group of segmentation that has some specific or distinct need. The marketer satisfies these needs with a specific skill. For example, Tata has introduced Gold Plus brand of jewelries. They have Tanishq showroom for elite customers, and they have Gold Plus showrooms for semi-urban and rural customers. Though the quality of jewelry in both categories remains same, but different lies in the type of design that is being offered through these two these two showrooms. Now, micro-marketing. Micro-marketing refers to tailoring the product to the satisfied need of particular need or taste of the customers. For example, in northern India, people preferred mustard oil, loose mustard oil. So Dabur launched a mole that was a mustard oil and amla based hair oil. And they targeted consumers in North India, those who were using loose mustard oil. And 10 rupee pack of Dabur and was very successful in North Indian rural markets. This micro marketing may further be divided into local marketing and individual marketing. Local marketing involves designing brands and promotion that suits to needs and wants of local consumer groups on geographical basis. For example, Philips has approaches to rural buyers in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu with two similar but different campaigns. One done with actor Chiranjeevi and other with actor Rajinikanth. So this was the local marketing that was being used by Philips in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. And these two actors are being popular in their respective states. Next is individual marketing. Artisan products, carpentry, and other are the examples of this individual marketing where individual could get their product tailored to their specific needs. So this is individual marketing. Thank you for patiently listening to my lecture. I will be coming back with another lecture. Till then, thank you.